Unit 7.
Tap. Switch. To turn on. To turn off. To leave on.
What do we turn on with a switch?
We turn on lights, TVs, stereos and microwaves with a switch.
Do you always turn all the lights off before going to bed?
Yes, I always turn all the lights off before going to bed.
Would a car start in the morning if you left its lights on all night?
No, a car wouldn't start in the morning if you left its lights on all night.
Do you think it's a good idea to leave a light on when you go out at night?
Yes, I think it's a good idea to leave a light on when you go out at night. Channel. Remote control. Button. To turn up. Turn down. Volume.
Where can you find buttons?
You can find buttons on clothes, TVs, stereos and remote controls.
How do you make the TV louder?
You make the TV louder by turning it up.
How do you make the TV quieter?
You make the TV quieter by turning it down.
What do you use to change the volume on the TV?
You use the remote control or the volume button to change the volume on the TV.
How many TV channels are there in your country?
There are 5 TV channels in my country.
What do you do when you don't like the television program you are watching?
When I don't like the television program I'm watching, I change channels. Mirror. Reflection. To shave.
What do you see in a mirror?
I see my reflection in a mirror.
Where else can you see a reflection?
You can see a reflection in a window.
Could you put your makeup on without a mirror?
No, I couldn't put my makeup on without a mirror.
Do you ever talk to yourself?
Yes, I sometimes talk to myself.
Is it easy to express yourself in a foreign language?
No, it isn't easy to express yourself in a foreign language.
When do people need to look at themselves in a mirror?
People need to look at themselves in a mirror in the morning and before they go out at night.
Do men talk about themselves more than women?
Yes, men talk about themselves more than women.
Can you laugh at yourself when you make a mistake during the lesson?
Yes, I can laugh at myself when I make a mistake during the lesson. To cut. Cut, cut. To hurt. Hurt, hurt.
What is the verb form of to cut?
The verb form of to cut is cut, cut, cut.
What is the verb form of to hurt?
The verb form of to hurt is hurt, hurt, hurt.
What do we use to cut vegetables?
We use a knife to cut vegetables.
Have you ever cut your finger when cooking?
Yes, I've cut my finger when cooking.
Did it hurt?
Yes, it hurt.
Have you ever hurt yourself when playing sport?
Yes, I broke my leg when I was playing netball at school.
Have you ever cut yourself when shaving?
Yes, I've cut myself when shaving. To hurt someone's feelings.
Do children often hurt each other's feelings?
Yes, children often hurt each other's feelings.
If I laughed at your English, would it hurt your feelings?
No, if you laughed at my English, it wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Would it hurt your feelings if your best friend forgot your birthday?
Yes, it would hurt my feelings if my best friend forgot my birthday. Fashion. Fashionable. Model.
Are you interested in fashion?
No, I'm not interested in fashion.
Do you ever read fashion magazines?
Yes, I sometimes read fashion magazines.
Which is one of the most popular fashion magazines in the world?
Vogue is one of the most popular fashion magazines in the world.
Are fashionable clothes usually quite expensive?
Yes, fashionable clothes are usually quite expensive.
Have you ever dreamt of being a fashion model?
No, I've never dreamt of being a fashion model.
Who is one of the most famous fashion models in the world?
Kate Moss is one of the most famous fashion models in the world.
Do you think some models are too thin?
Yes, I think some models are too thin. In fashion. Out of fashion.
Are my clothes in fashion?
No, your clothes aren't in fashion.
Are hats in fashion?
No, hats aren't in fashion.
Can you tell me what kind of clothes are out of fashion at the moment?
Wide ties are out of fashion at the moment.
Is long hair for men in fashion?
No, long hair for men isn't in fashion. To become. Became. Become.
At what age do children become adults?
Children become adults at the age of 18.
In what decade did home computers become common?
Home computers became common in the 80s.
In what decade did rock and roll become popular?
Rock and roll became popular in the 50s.
What do people who study law at university usually become?
People who study law at university usually become lawyers.
What kind of things make people become violent?
Alcohol and drugs make people become violent. To become.
Do you think cities are becoming more dangerous places to live?
Yes, I think cities are becoming more dangerous places to live.
Is marriage becoming more or less popular in your country?
Marriage is becoming less popular in my country.
What kind of people find it difficult to express themselves?
Shy people find it difficult to express themselves.
What kind of people have to wear fashionable clothes for their job?
Models have to wear fashionable clothes for their job.
Would it hurt your feelings if I said your clothes were out of fashion?
No, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if you said my clothes were out of fashion.
Which companies are famous for making fashionable clothes?
Versace and Armani are famous for making fashionable clothes. To do something yourself.
Do you usually cut your hair yourself?
No, I don't usually cut my hair myself.
At school, did you always do your homework yourself?
No, I didn't always do my homework myself at school.
Where did you go for your last holiday?
I went to Paris for my last holiday.
Did you organise the trip yourself?
Yes, I organised the trip myself.
If your car broke down, would you try to repair it yourself?
No, if my car broke down, I wouldn't try to repair it myself. To have something done.
When was the last time you had your hair cut?
The last time I had my hair cut was about 2 months ago.
Have you had your eyes tested recently?
Yes, I had my eyes tested 2 weeks ago.
Have you ever had your head shaved?
No, I've never had my head shaved.
Would you like to have all your housework done by someone else?
Yes, I'd like to have all my housework done by someone else.
Did you have your photograph taken at school?
Yes, I had my photograph taken at school.
Did you like the picture?
No, I didn't like the picture. Hairdresser.
Where do you go to have your hair cut?
I go to the hairdresser to have my hair cut.
Do you like going to the hairdresser?
No, I don't like going to the hairdresser.
Do you like having your hair washed at the hairdresser?
Yes, I like having my hair washed at the hairdresser. Brush. Comb. Shampoo. Scissors. Hairstyle.
What does a hairdresser use to cut your hair?
A hairdresser uses scissors to cut your hair.
Give me an example of a famous person who has a good hairstyle.
Madonna has a good hairstyle.
Give me an example of a famous person who has a strange hairstyle.
Dennis Rodman has a strange hairstyle.
How often do you brush your hair?
I brush my hair twice a day.
What do you do if you are not happy with your hairstyle?
If I'm not happy with my hairstyle, I go to the hairdresser.
Do you usually keep a brush or comb in your bag?
Yes, I usually keep a brush in my bag. At the back. At the front. At the side. On the sides. Fringe.
Is your hair short at the back and sides?
No, my hair isn't short at the back and sides.
Are long fringes in fashion?
No, long fringes aren't in fashion.
Describe her hairstyle.
Her hairstyle is short at the sides, longer at the back, and she has a fringe.
Is this classroom at the back or the front of this building?
This classroom is at the front of this building.
Do you prefer to sit at the front or the back of the cinema?
I prefer to sit at the back of the cinema.
Where are your ears?
My ears are on the sides of my head. To dry. Towel. Hairdryer. Dry. Wet.
What do you use to dry your hair?
I use a towel to dry my hair.
Are hair dryers good for your hair?
No, hairdryers aren't good for your hair.
Have you ever tried to dry your clothes with a hairdryer?
Yes, I've tried to dry my clothes with a hairdryer.
Did it work?
Yes, it worked.
Do you like drying yourself with a wet towel?
No, I don't like drying myself with a wet towel. Emergency. Accident. The emergency services. The ambulance service. The fire brigade.
What are the emergency services?
The emergency services are the ambulance service, the fire brigade, and the police.
Have you ever had a car accident?
No, I've never had a car accident.
Who would you call if there was a car accident?
If there was a car accident, I would call the emergency services.
Have you ever had to call any of the emergency services?
No, I've never had to call any of the emergency services.
What number do you call in an emergency?
You call 999 in an emergency. To enter. Entrance. Exit.
What kind of places do we have to pay to enter?
We have to pay to enter clubs, cinemas, and some museums.
On what street is the entrance to this school?
The entrance to this school is on Denmark Street.
What kind of buildings must have an emergency exit?
Public buildings must have an emergency exit.
If there were a fire in a building, which sign would you look for?
If there were a fire in a building, I would look for the exit sign.
Have you ever entered a competition?
Yes, I've entered a competition.
Did you win?
No, I didn't win. To fall. Fell. Fallen.
Did you ever fall off your bike when you were a child?
Yes, I often fell off my bike when I was a child.
Have you ever fallen into a swimming pool?
Yes, I've fallen into a swimming pool.
Did you fall or did someone push you?
I fell.
Do young children often fall over when they are learning to walk?
Yes, young children often fall over when they are learning to walk.
Have you ever fallen out of bed?
Yes, I've fallen out of bed.
What falls off trees in autumn?
Leaves fall off trees in autumn.
Have you ever dreamt that you were falling?
Yes, I've dreamt that I was falling. Nurse. Hospital. To look after. Patient.
Who looks after the patients in a hospital?
Nurses look after the patients in a hospital.
Do you think nurses are paid enough in your country?
No, I don't think nurses are paid enough in my country.
Have you ever looked after someone else's child?
Yes, I've looked after someone else's child.
Have you ever had to look after someone who was ill?
Yes, I've had to look after someone who is ill. To operate. Operation. Surgeon.
What kind of doctor operates on a patient?
A surgeon operates on a patient.
Do you think it's right for doctors to try new operations on animals?
Yes, I think it's right for doctors to try new operations on animals.
How would you feel if you had to have an operation?
I would feel very nervous if I had to have an operation. Sick. To be off sick. To get better. To feel better.
When was the last time you were sick?
The last time I was sick was a month ago.
Did you get better quickly?
Yes, I got better quickly.
Have you been off school sick recently?
Yes, I've been off school sick recently.
Do you feel better now?
Yes, I feel better now.
What kind of things can make people feel sick?
Travelling or too much alcohol can make people feel sick. Pain, painful, ache.
Do you often get headaches?
No, I don't often get headaches.
Who would you see if you had a very painful toothache?
I would see the dentist if I had a very painful toothache.
If you broke your arm, would it be painful?
Yes, if I broke my arm, it would be very painful.
What kind of things can give you a headache?
Hangovers and stress can give you a headache.
What kind of things can give you a stomachache?
Too much food or stress can give you a stomachache. Legal, illegal, drug.
What drugs do you take when you have a headache?
I take painkillers when I have a headache.
Give me an example of a legal drug.
Aspirin is a legal drug.
Give me an example of an illegal drug.
Heroin is an illegal drug.
Are illegal drugs a big problem in big cities?
Yes, illegal drugs are a big problem in big cities.
Is it legal to drink and drive?
No, it's illegal to drink and drive. Medicine, chemist, pharmacy, pill.
Where do we buy medicine?
We buy medicine in a chemist or pharmacy.
What kind of medicine comes in a pill?
Aspirin and paracetamol come in a pill.
What kind of people can get free medicine in your country?
Children, the unemployed, and elderly people can get free medicine in my country.
What else can you buy in a chemist apart from medicine?
You can buy many things in a chemist apart from medicine, for example, shampoo and soap. Hangover, cure.
Can doctors cure all illnesses?
No, doctors can't cure all illnesses.
Give me an example of an illness which is very difficult to cure.
Cancer is very difficult to cure.
How do people get hangovers?
People get hangovers by drinking too much alcohol.
What is a good cure for a hangover?
Lots of water is a good cure for a hangover.
How often do you have your hair cut?
I have my hair cut once every 2 months.
Why do cars have mirrors on the sides?
Cars have mirrors on the sides so the driver can see behind him.
What do hairdressers use to dry your hair after washing it?
Hairdressers use a hairdryer to dry your hair after washing it.
Why would I ask you to look after my bag?
You would ask me to look after your bag if you went somewhere for a short period of time and didn't want to lose it.
Is falling down the stairs very painful?
Yes, falling down the stairs is very painful. To call. To be called. Nickname.
What is your full name?
My full name is Gail Montgomery.
What do people call you?
People call me Gail.
Do children sometimes call each other horrible names?
Yes, children sometimes call each other horrible names.
What are people between the ages of 13 and 19 called?
People between the age of 13 and 19 are called teenagers.
What is the meat from a cow called?
The meat from a cow is called beef.
Did you have a nickname at school?
Yes, I had a nickname at school.
What were you called?
I was called Monty. Vet. Pet.
Do you have a pet?
Yes, I have a pet.
What kind of animal is it?
It's a cat.
What's it called?
It's called Susie.
Give me an example of a common pet.
A cat is a common pet.
Give me an example of a strange pet.
A spider is a strange pet.
Is it expensive to take a pet to the vet?
Yes, it's expensive to take a pet to the vet.